Hello, my creative friends. I'm Deborah, and I'm the hands behind Taylor's Yarn Creations. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you how I assembled my recent pattern that will be available on Etsy. And it's called the Crochet Pumpkin Witch. And it has bendable legs. So for this project, you're going to need your scissors, a pair of scissors, the crochet hook that you use to complete your pumpkin, and that's going to be an E4 3.5 millimeters what I used, the bendable insert, tapestry needle, and I'm just going to be showing you how to do one leg in particular. So I have the leg and the boot, and then I have the crochet pumpkin, and of course some filling. So this is just the assembly of the pumpkin itself. This is not the complete pattern. So if you want the complete pattern, because it is an original pattern, I'm going to request that you purchase it from my Etsy shop. Okay, to get started, I'm going to go ahead and assemble my pumpkin. And I'm going to just basically kind of eyeball and see which side that I prefer. And it looks like, I think this is where the yarn was joined together. So I'm gonna just fold it so that the outside of the pumpkin is facing the inside. So when I flip it, you're gonna go ahead and just take your crochet hook, and I'm going to do a slip stitch within each stitch to seal the pumpkin itself. Okay, and how I do this is really simple. You may already know how to do it, but I'm going to just grab that first stitch. Hope you can see this with my hook, insert it, and then as you can see, there's the V's. The V is stitches. I'm just gonna grab just the first front loop, not the back loop, but the front loop. And I'll have 3 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through 2, and then pull through the last loop on the hook. And I'm just going to continue that all the way down. Insert the front, so you have 3, loop over, pull through 2, and then again, and that is like a slip stitch. And so I'm gonna just do this all the way down, and then I'll be back. So as you can see, it has this really nice seam to it, and so that's really great. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just gonna make a really long stem. I guess I could single chain. I'm gonna do a single, just kind of seal it by chaining 1 and then pulling it through. So you want to make sure you have lots of yarn. I'm using Lion brand because it's got a really nice smooth finish. You can do this in whatever yarn you want. Remember, the yarn type will also make it larger in regards to the sizing of the pumpkin, but I really like to just I like the smooth finish of this Lion brand. So I'm gonna just take this. Have you ever cut the wrong side before? I know I have. I'm like, no. So I'm just gonna go ahead and cut where it's attached to the working yarn. I did a really long, just maybe like about 2 or 3 really long tail. And that's because I'm gonna need to use that to make the nodes of the pumpkin. Now while it's still, this is the inside of the pumpkin. As you can see, it's really, really nice. I'm just gonna turn it and flip it so that the outside is showing. I'm not sure what's going on there. Just kind of straighten it out there. But it looks really gorgeous. Look at that. You're going to take your tapestry needle now. Of course, you're going to take your little long tail, put it on your tapestry needle, and we're going to go ahead and cinch the bottom part of the pumpkin. And I'm going to make sure that I cinch it really tight, and then we're going to bring it back up through the top after we stuff it. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that now. There's really no fancy way. It's kind of like making a hat if you were crocheting a hat and you want to do the top. So I'm just kind of just grabbing it, kind of like weaving it in and out, pulling my long tail through so that you may have to stop and do it every so often so that it doesn't get tangled like what you're seeing, especially if you have a long tail. I would rather have extra long tail than to not have enough and have to redo, add some more yarn. It just makes it so much easier. You can gauge it after you do this a couple times. You may not need as much, but just to kind of get started, that's what I'm doing. And when you do that, what this does is it starts pulling the pumpkin closed, like you can see there. So I'm just gonna keep weaving it. It works up really fast once you get the pumpkin itself crocheted. Pull it through every so often so it doesn't get tangled. Hope you can see this. Make sure everything stays out of my way, because if you don't, it'll grab it and pull it up there with it, and you're fighting a bunch of yarn, and you don't want to do that. So that's the first round. Just make sure that everything goes through smoothly, nothing gets caught, nothing gets tangled. Like as you can see, it's starting to tangle a little bit with the tail. Just when you feel that pull, stop. Don't keep pulling it, because you'll find yourself with a giant knot, and it'll take you longer just to finish it. As you can see, it closed it really nice. It's like a hat, a little baby hat. I'm not sure why that's there, but that's because where the manufacturer added the yarn. But I'll clip that and make it nice and neat. You can see, but to make sure that it's sealed, I'm gonna go just one more round with this orange. I think it's called Tangerine. Lion brand 24/7. It's really 100% cotton. It's a great yarn to work with. Real smooth, gives it a really rich look to it. So I'm going one more time around. And if I don't have, I'm up here where all my materials is located, so I have plenty of filling if I don't have enough. So what I'm going to do now is just go across. This is where I'm going to start, like putting a few, it shouldn't come apart at all, but I like to add just a few little extra knots in the bottom. After all, I have plenty of yarn to play around with. And just kind of make sure that that hole is closed at the bottom. No fancy way of doing this, no rhyme, no reason. Just make sure that it's neat looking, because if this is something you're going to be selling or giving as a gift, you want it to look as professional as you can. And then right before I tie it, so that should seal it pretty good. And the orange blends in really well with it, so you shouldn't really see too much of it. Now, There's the pumpkin. I love the way this pattern came out. So now I'm going to start stuffing the pumpkin. After I go ahead and I may do one more just to kind of close that little hole right there. And as I'm pulling it closer and pulling it through, I'm gonna add a little, put my yarn through it and just kind of make it like a little knot. So before I stuff it, I'm going to put this through the inside and bring it up. Insert the stuffing. Nice. Make it a nice solid pumpkin. And then I'm going to go ahead and stop here, and you're going to take this and you're going to cinch the top the same way you did the bottom. And then I'll come back and show you how I did the node. Okay, at this point, you can stop and see if you need to add any more stuffing. You don't want to stuff it too much because you need just enough to make it, you know, feel like it's a solid pumpkin. I'm gonna add though just a little bit more before I close it. And then you may want to move the stuffing around. This is really cute, I think. This will make a nice holiday decor for the table for Halloween. And ideas come all there. It's all around you as a crafter. So you want to seal the pumpkin. And this is okay because you're going to, basically I'm going to go ahead and close, not really close it, but just go around it a couple times. Because I'm going to use the yarn to make the nodes of the pumpkin. You can make as many nodes as you want. You can make 4, you can make 6, you can make 8. Make as many as you want. I like to make a couple. After I started learning how to really do the nodes, I said, let me make more. It makes it really cute. And at the top, you're gonna sew your pumpkin stem and the curly vine. So now let's do the node. You're going to kind of just go in between, take it, go in between one, go through the bottom, and bring it back up. Like that. Isn't that neat? I think it's so neat. As you pull it, it'll form the first node. And then I'll go back down the other. And just kind of keep doing this all the way around until you have as many pumpkin nodes as you like. And at my the recent craft fair festival, I sold out of pumpkins. I could not believe it. I didn't know it was going to be that much of a hit. The year before, when I set up, had a few pumpkins. This one lady, before I can even, one of the vendors, before I can even get set up good, she grabbed one of the pumpkins. It was a reminder of her friend who loved pumpkins, but she passed away from breast cancer. So every year she comes to my table and she buys a pumpkin. This year I made her the black and white one. If you saw it on my video, there was a special one for her. And so she adds it to her collection. I hope I'm seeing it. I'm gonna put that aside. You can move your, you shape it as you need to, but that's that. So let me get to the leg itself. Once you create your leg and your foot, you're going to go ahead and, I guess you can insert this anytime. It's no particular time you want to insert it, but I'm going to do it at the end so I can show you how I do my foot. I'm going to take the tapestry needle again. I'm at the end of the foot, or the boot. I'm at the end of the boot. I'm going to take my tapestry needle again. I've crocheted my last 3 stitches, and I'm going to just kind of weave it a little bit closed, the little hole, and it also gives it a little a point. The boot point, the toe point. And then once I finish that, I'm just gonna take it, my needle, push it back through to the top. There's a little hole where I started. Or you can go along the edge here. It doesn't matter. You just wanna make sure that you have enough yarn to actually wrap around the leg. And there's your foot. Now, you could actually crochet yellow, brown, yellow, brown, yellow, brown. But to make it easier, I'm just going to use some string. You can use a black foot, you can use a green leg, you can use an orange leg, you can use a black foot, gray foot, whatever you want. It's yours to make. I'm just showing you how to add on this leg. I left a little bit of a longer top, so when I sew it into the pumpkin itself, it will go, I have enough to tie knots and everything. So you just want to take your needle, run it through that top, and there, you see, you have it. Now her foot, and it's going to be like this when she's kicking up, when you bend the leg. So you want to kind of just make sure that your foot is in place, and you want to run run it through a couple times. Like I say, nothing fancy, nothing spectacular. Just takes a little time. And I'm gonna, just for the sake of this, run it just a little knot, and then I'm gonna pull it tight. And there you have it. That's the leg. But then now you want to continue. I want to make sure that my foot is just a little bit more solid than what I'm feeling. And making sure that everything is the way I like it. Run it back through again. Grab some of that brown and pull it through. And it seems pretty tight. Now what you want to do is you want to start wrapping. Take your brown, you want to wrap it a couple times, around and around, and hopefully I will have enough brown to wrap all the way up the leg, so the foot feels pretty solid. I want to also recommend, I will probably just run it through just to be safe, and then you begin to wrap. Now here, if you want to use some fabric glue to hold it in place, that could be a great idea as well. And you just start wrapping. Simple slip knot. Just wrap it. If you don't like the way it's wrapped, unwrap it and do it again. But I'm going to probably add a little bit of fabric glue because it's clear it dries really clear. There, see? And it's just like that. Insert your little piece. Then you want to position it onto your pumpkin. As you can see, look at how cute that is. Use these to actually sew into the pumpkin and stabilize it, and you are finished after you put your other pieces together. So that's how you do the leg. I'm going to insert it and then I'll show you the finished product. Be sure to like, subscribe, turn on your notification. Until the next time,